Hello all, my name is Eric Nelson. I've gathered you here today to discuss a very important topic to me. The cost of tuition is far too outrageous. I don't know how anybody expects us to continue our education if we can't even afford it. Have you ever just sat there during registration and wondered how in the world you're going to pay for that next semester? Whether it's going to be out of pocket, loans, grants, scholarships, who knows where that next set of money is coming from. I myself have been in school for going on 8 years now. You'd think after 8 years I'd be going for some fancy degree, a doctorate, master's, something. No, I'm going to finishing my bachelor's degree. The reason it's taken me so long is for this exact reason. The price of tuition is too high. I used to think that going semester to semester paying out of pocket was the right way to go, until I realized that I was only making going to school every one or two semesters a year, and that I was never going to get anywhere that way. What I'm getting at is college tuition is far too high, and there need to be changes made so that we can continue our growth, our personal growth, as well as the growth for our country. CNBC records several reasons why tuition costs are too high. One of the main reasons they report that tuition is too high is sports programs. As we continue through the years, college coaches' salaries are increasing because each school wants the best coach they can possibly find in order to make money in their programs for winning championships. Due to these higher costs in coaches, some of these fees are recurring down into what the students are having to pay. Also, another part of the sports programs that our costs are rising is some of the smaller schools that are trying to develop their programs so that they can compete with some of these bigger Division I schools so that they can have a chance at these championships in a hope to make more money. Again, these costs are subsidized down into the students regardless of whether you're an athlete or have any involvement in the sports programs. You could be just a regular student just like me that goes to school for an education and has no extracurricular activity or any other involvement within the school, but you're still paying for those costs. Another reason CNBC reports costs are increasing is the amenities at the colleges. Every university knows that how big of a burden it is and how much of a grind it is to go to school continually for 4 years, 6 years, however long you're going for. So these schools try to put in amenities to try and make it a more fun, relaxed environment when you're not studying, when you're not stuck in class. Because of these extra things that these schools are adding in, the debt rate of tuition is now the highest debt in our country. Since 1978, the tuition rate has increased over 1,200%, as reported by the New York Times. If we compare the rate of tuition increase to standard inflations, compared to a gallon of milk, something that we all have on a daily basis or purchase weekly or monthly, if the rate of milk went up at the same rate that tuition has gone up, we'd be paying well over $15 for a gallon of milk right now. And that's Times Magazine reported that in 2014. Because of the high, over the last 40 years, inflation has gone up significantly through tuition, but has been very minimal inflation over the rest of everything that we are seeing, all our daily purchases. As of 2014, student debt was increasing around 7.8% in relationship to 2.2% of debt for the rest of the economy. The Week magazine reported that just a few years ago. As we go through the years, student debt continues to increase, and we are now well over $1 trillion in debt as a student population. That's higher than healthcare. That's higher than credit card debt combined. On average, students graduate with at least $30,000 in debt, according to the New York Times, and that is on the extreme low scale. Um, a local newspaper here in Salt Lake City, the Deseret News, recorded that tuition rates, or some, depending on what university or school you're going to, whether you're an in-state student or out-of-state student, you could be spending, by the time you graduate, you could be well over $200,000 in debt. And that would just take a lifetime to pay off, if you can even pay it off in a lifetime. With these increases in debt, what can we do to help out the students, help out our country? The first major thing that come to mind was tuition deferment. What tuition deferment is allows an alternative to paying for tuition than the traditional method. It sets up so that you're allowed to defer up to 75% of your expenses, whether that be tuition, books, room, etc., whatever expenses you have, and allows you to pay that back over 20 years, according to the New York Times. This allows for, once you've graduated, you can change your payment method back based on the amount of money that you're making. The more money you make, the faster you can pay it back. It just sets up so if you get into a low-paying job, it's set up so that you can pay a smaller payment without being overwhelmed. Another way is a program called Promise to Scholars. There's several states that have this program, and it promotes that if kids stay drug-free, alcohol-free, crime-free, and have above a GPA of 2.5, that they'll work with the students as far as helping them get through college and get them started in college. This is a big push to help some students with some underprivileged students with some of their college expenses. The next, what I think is the biggest thing, is a reduction in tuition costs. The reduction would help the students that are currently in college, because they're going to graduate with less debt than they have. It's going to allow for parents to return back to school, and people that have quit college because of not being able to afford it. Also, this is it will cause an increase in spending in the economy, because the money that they have won't be going towards debt, and they'll be able to put it back into the economy. In conclusion, college tuition expenses are far too high, and we need to do something to lower these costs. I'm not for free tuition. I think everything should have some price to it, including tuition. I'm just for